If you don't know what third way is, it's basically the corporate centrist Democrat think tank that has been in charge of the Democratic Party since basically 1994. You could argue that it was 1990 or 1988, or maybe even earlier. And they have put out their, and it's extremely influential in Washington, D.C. I would say it's probably the most influential Democratic think tank. They're called Third Way because there's the left way, there's the right way, and we need to come up with a third way. Now, what's very ironic or interesting about that is that the third way is also how fascists have described their politics. By the way, just so you understand that the third way is centrist Democrats in America or fascism. It's called the third position when you're talking about fascism. They call it the third way if you're a centrist Democrat. How can we be coalescing the left, and how can we, as dumb plebs, help? Well, the first thing we need to do is we need to get smarter. And I think one of the things that's happening is that a lot of left liberals are exposing their utter fecklessness and their cowardice and their lack of imagination and their worthlessness. I mean, like, I don't know what else to say. It's not just mainstream corporate Dems. It's left liberals, right? It is left liberals. I don't know what else to say. Have I seen AOC on NPR? I think we can watch that in a bit. And here's what I saw that made me want to stream today. This was the meeting. Those gathered then laid out 20 solutions for how Democrats can regain working class trust and reconnect with them culturally. The party should, quote, embrace patriotism, community, and traditional American imagery. Democrats should ban far-left candidate questionnaires and refuse to participate in forums that create ideological purity tests, and move away from the dominance of small-dollar donors whose preferences may not align with the broader electorate. They should push back against far-left staffers and groups that exert a disproportionate influence on policy and messaging. And candidates should get out of elite circles and into real communities, e.g. tailgates, gun shows, local restaurants, churches. And the party needs to own the failures of democratic governance in large cities and commit to improving local government. The third way comeback retreat. Now, here's kind of my feeling on this. I think that if there's the most dangerous people in the world are in the third way think tank. I think that these people, like, we're at a hinge point in history. All right. And I would say that if there is a group of people that are going to commit, this is extinction level threat to the human race. This isn't just like committing a murder of one person. This is committing a murder of countless trillions of people that might have lived. I want you to understand that the level of evil that is concentrated in this group has never been matched in human history. Heap up all the deaths in every genocide and every mass killing and every war, and it will hardly be seeable compared to the level of threat that these people represent to the future. If people follow this policy, it's unlikely the human race can survive as an organized society in the future. That's the level of threat. And this is not hyperbolic. I mean every word I'm saying. These people are a complete threat. And it's not even like at a point where you can debate them anymore. Okay? What they desire to do is to create a Democratic Party rump party of the plutocratic billionaire that serves as the Washington Generals, a controlled opposition party of the billionaires that denies and rejects democratic accountability in any form, that tailors itself as basically what amounts to a marketing department for billionaires. This, if they were to succeed in their goals, the Democratic Party would basically cease to function as a political party. And that would leave the Republican party as the only actual party in America. This is the path to a one-party state. A one-party right-wing dictatorship. These are the people, these are the collaborators. By the way, these people are more of a threat than even the Republicans. Because the Republicans, everybody knows what they are, okay? Well, you know what you're going to get with the Republicans, all right? Say what you will about Donald Trump. You're authentically, he's doing what he says he's going to do. It's not confusing. He's doing exactly what he said he was going to do, and he's doing it to the maximum possible degree. No one should be surprised by what he's doing. If anything, I'm surprised he's keeping so many promises. I thought the stuff about NATO was just bluster and bullshit, but it actually looks like they might pursue a more isolationist foreign policy. I thought that was crap because of the structure of the military industrial complex, and it may borne out to be crap. I mean, you know, I'll believe it when I see it. But they've at least postured. They've at least threatened. They've at least made the Europeans question the validity and importance of NATO and maybe recalculate. Now they're not going to, because the entire political class of Europe are American puppet servants, and they're not gonna like suddenly figure out fucking self-reliance. Okay, they're gonna continue to do that until I see it actually happening. I don't believe it. Okay, so the Republican Party is the threat. Absolutely. But I look at the Republican Party, I'll give you an analogy, which is very cringe, but I think very important to understand where I'm at mentally myself. Think of it like you are in a zombie apocalypse. This will be a good, relatable analogy you can all understand. The Republicans are the zombies. Third way and corporate Democrats are the person who's bit, who hides it. What's a bigger threat to you? The answer is the person who's bit, because they're inside the wire. The sentries are looking out. The booby traps are set out there. The snipers are looking out there. They're sleeping next to you in a sleeping bag. There's someone you trust. They're right there. And so when you fall asleep, you wake up with a zombie chewing your fucking throat, and it's too late to react because they're inside the wire. These are our greater enemies. And you know what you do when you find out somebody's bit in the zombie apocalypse and they were hiding it? You know what you do? You shoot them in the fucking head. That is the solution in the zombie apocalypse. So with that in mind, let's read the third way comeback retreat. And I mean this, like, you know, when I was talking about the extinction level threat, because the Republicans are the zombies. All right. They will come in and eat all of our brains if they can. All right. They will kill us. They are the force of nature that we have to organize against to destroy. I'm not saying Republicans are good. For you stupid fucking liberal whiny bitches baby fucks. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if we're going to defeat them, you have to be organized and together around a plan. And these people represent the destruction of that from within. I personally agree with them. Why are we... Fuck the Democratic Party. Fuck the Democratic Party. It sucks. It's useless. And you know what? Fighting them will result in more defeats, probably. I don't know what will happen. I don't think it tends to work on the first try. But at this point, what are they going to win? They're not going to do anything. They're going to win for 2 years and then do nothing and then have another recession. And what? The Republicans are going to win more? In early February 2025, Third Way gathered a group of highly experienced and passionate political professionals over 1.5 days to begin to chart the Democratic comeback. Every single person in this group should be on a list. I want to know who was there. I want to know every single person who was there. They are our enemies. They are the greatest enemy. This is the enemy. This is the list of traitors to humanity. As part of this retreat, attendees participated in breakout sessions to deliberate on why Democrats are struggling with working class voters around cultural issues, the nature of the economic trust gap with this critical group, and ideas for how we can address both problems. Do you think the idea is raise taxes on the rich and provide more benefits and build up unions? And build industrial policy surrounding economic redistributionism? Do you think that's what they're going to say? They're going to say build high quality social and public housing to solve the housing shortage, build high speed rail, build a public transportation network, you know, pay for free college. Like, what do you think they're going to say here? Takeaways on why Democrats have a cultural disconnect with the working class. 1. Overemphasis on identity politics. Many working class voters feel Democrats prioritize identity-based groups with overbroad, unifying messages, making them feel excluded rather than included. The faculty lounge problem. Democrats are often viewed as judgmental, out of touch, and dismissive of those without elite education or progressive views. This makes the party seem disconnected from everyday people. That's why we want to get rid of small dollar donations and go to the billionaires. Failure to prioritize economic concerns. While voters struggle with jobs, wages, and inflation, Democrats are seen more focused on cultural and social issues than on economic progress and opportunity. Now, they're going to say we just need to be Republicans. So more tax cuts and, you know, more, what, bust more unions? Weak messaging and communications. The party's language is vague, politically correct, or overly intellectually, making it hard for working class voters to connect with Democratic policies. There are no Democratic policies. What were her policies? Feed the genocide in Gaza? A small tax break for small business owners? What are you talking about, Democratic policies? Democrats are perceived as intolerant of internal debate, where questioning progressive orthodoxy results in a backlash rather than an open discussion. Incredible. Candidates and operatives need to feel more comfortable just saying no to activist groups and unpalatable far left ideas. It's always just nonsensical bullshit and rhetoric. Democrats are seen as defending elite institutions, academia, media, government bureaucracy, while being critical of institutions working class people value churches, small businesses, and police. America has never had less church attendance than ever before. The largest and fastest growing group is non-religious or non-church going people. This is utter nonsense. Allowing the far left to define the party. Activist groups and progressive staffers push unpopular cultural positions, making it seem like Democrats are more extreme left than they actually are. Operatives and campaigns would remember that activist groups exist to promote their single issue and raise money around it, not to make Democrats electable. Reactionary rather than proactive. Democrats often let Republicans set the terms of cultural debate, e.g. crime, immigration, instead of clearly defining their own position in a way that resonates with voters. You do that by going, by saying, yep, our cities are overrun with crime. Terms like pregnant people and Latinx alienate working class voters who see them as out of touch with real world terms and vocabulary. Democrats focus too much on America's flaws, racism, sexism, inequality. Guys, the best way to get us back with working class people is don't think about inequality. That's far left stuff. Takeaways on why Democrats are not trusted by the working class on the economy. Number 1, vilification of wealth. Democrats are seen as hostile to success. I mean, what else needs to be said? Okay, here's what I need you to understand. Somebody's got to do something about these people. They need to be found. Like, what's taking so long? These people are the greatest threat to the human race that has ever fucking existed. I mean, at this point, like, what can you even say? Democrats focus on broad economic indicators instead of acknowledging real struggles like high prices and stagnant wages, making voters feel dismissed and unheard. These are the same people saying the Biden economy was great. The Democrats have the world's easiest job. The terms of the political fight is the lowest hanging fruit, but this kind of action plan tells we are cooked. They have the hardest job. The Democrats need to make left-wing people like Bernie Sanders and Sam Cedar and Emma Vigland and Matt Leck and Hassan Piker and myself. Their mission is to make these people vote for Joe Biden. That is incredibly difficult. Honestly, my hat's off to them for how successful they are at this nearly impossible task. They have done the most difficult job, which is how do you build a party that is the servant of the billionaires while getting the support of people who oppose billionaires? And they've done it. They've succeeded. I mean, Emma Vigland was just posting how happy she would be if Walz was the nominee. I nearly fucking choked on my own tongue. It's 2025 and you're wanting to surrender to Tim Walz? Are you fucking insane? Economic policy is framed through the lens of identity politics rather than broad-based prosperity, making worker-class voters feel overlooked. These are the people who attacked Bernie Sanders and who hate Bernie Sanders. Anti-growth. This is literally just we have to be Republicans on the economy. Oh, wow. What a surprise. Freedom and justice, which means nothing. This is make yourself into more of a marketing pablum party. Acknowledge that people have multiple identities rather than reducing them to one label. You mean do intersectionality? Uh-oh. Bing bong, bing bong. That's far left. Reduce far left influence and infrastructure. Know that there's nothing about union halls here. Union. Labor. There's no labor unions or no, that's not here. It's skilled laborers. Critique corporate excess and corruption, but avoid an anti-capitalist stance. Focus on jobs, wages, and cost of living concerns. It's becoming even more bland and banal. Be pro-aspiration and pro-capitalism. Have a prosperity gospel aimed at the working class. Call out corporate abuses individually instead of corporations as a whole. They're going to be televangelists. Yeah, that's what they're arguing for. GOP messaging suggests they want voters to be rich, while Democrats are seen as focusing on redistribution rather than wealth creation. Climate policy viewed as anti-growth. Destroying the Democratic Party is literally left-wing. These guys are based, actually. No, they're not. Because people like Sam Cedar exist. The problem that we have is that Sam Cedar exists. And I don't mean that as a dig on Sam Cedar. I love Sam Cedar. But the problem is that a lot of people have logically argued themselves into a position where they just say voting is lesser evil. we have to do lesser evil, and they just spun themselves into a position of never, ever, ever saying the Democratic Party has to be destroyed. Because there's nothing, like, you know, I should have realized this earlier, but Sam Cedar just did a thing where it's like 99% genocide is better than 100% genocide. 99% Hitler is better than 100% Hitler. And it's like, actually, you get 99% Hitler by refusing to ever build anything better. You're never going to get progressivism if you're continually voting for 99% Hitler. At a certain point, you have to say, hey, we have to take a risk. 100% Hitler is winning anyway, dumb fuck. 99% Hitler strategy failed. We need to build 0% Hitler. Can we say, I'm willing to let 100%, I'm willing to risk 100% Hitler because he's already here. The fear of 100% Hitler cannot paralyze us anymore. He already won. That's literally it. The cowardice, the pathetic nature of these people. Like, that's what it is. It's truly pathetic. At a certain point, you have no self-respect. And this is not me doing this for wanting to feel good about myself or wanting me to, like, be virtue signally or think I don't care if you think I'm a good person or not. I don't give a shit if you like me or not. So your whole thing, how this is virtue signal or how this is blah, 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 I don't give a fuck. This is about winning power. Like, it's like pathetic. It's a pathetic fucking loser mentality. And that's all we've got is a pathetic fucking loser mentality. And it's with these left liberals. It is what it is. Like, we have to start saying, like, what are you doing? And like the third way is the Democratic Party. It is the Democratic Party now.